Hi, I'm David Desero, and today I'm going to be going over my 2021 TBR and channel goals and resolutions. Basically, just everything I'm getting into this year in 2021. I don't know why I said 2021, I'm sure you know what year it is. Whatever. Let's go. I've come to the realization that there are many, many fantasy novels and series that I haven't dug into. I've kind of always, I guess I'm more of a casual fantasy fan than I thought I was. I like Lord of the Rings, that's my undisputed number one. And then I've read a lot of urban fantasy, some Grimdark. Being involved with the Booktube community, I realized there are just so many great big series that I need to get into. So, this year, I'm going to be digging into a lot of those based on buddy reads and read-alongs that a lot of other channels are doing and hosting. And one of the big ones is Malazan. Malazan, I think. Book of the Fallen. That series I've heard so many great things about, and there are so many channels reading that this year. I know if you go to Philip Chase's channel, hopefully I put something here. I will link his channel down in the description below. But if you check out his channel, I'll link the video. He has a list of all of the booktubers that are going to be reading Malazan this year. Those books just get bigger and bigger as the series goes on. Right now I'm reading through Garden of the Moon, and I'm really liking it so far. I like the dark tone. I think the characters are all distinct and really interesting. Erickson does not hold your hand. The story kind of takes off and you just go. And you're just jumping from here to here and you're just going. But we're not going to talk about it yet. The other series, I'm also going to be reading through The Black Company by Glenn Cook. You've heard me mention this channel a bunch of times already, but slowly read. The number one Grimdark booktuber is doing a read-along on his channel and through his Discord of The Black Company. So I'm going to be following along with that. And I'm a Grimdark fan, and it feels like this is one of the Grimdark classics that you should read at some point if you're a Grimdark fan. If you're into it, it's good to see what probably inspired a lot of what we see today in that genre. Then the next one is probably the biggest one. The one that Daniel Greene, who I'm sure you know, Daniel Greene promotes this book all the time. He talks about it. It's his favorite series, The Wheel of Time. I'm going to be reading the first book from The Wheel of Time this year. I don't know if I'll get to the second one because there's a lot of other massive, thick books I'm reading this year. But I'm definitely going to be reading the first one, and hopefully before the Amazon show comes out, because I want to know what's going on. I want to be into that story, into that realm before the show comes out. And Daniel Greene has said, I mean, this is his favorite. This is something that supposedly can rival Lord of the Rings. I find that hard to believe, but I'm going to go in there open-minded, and I'm going to give it a shot. The next thick book I'm getting into this year is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. There's not one specific booktuber who's recommended this. I've seen so many people talk about this. Everybody in the community, it seems like, was talking about Rhythm of War. I want to get in on that conversation. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what all the hype is about. Is it worth it? Does it live up to the hype? Will it be a letdown? I don't know. But I'm going to read it, and I'm going to find out. Now this year, because I'm reading a lot of really just big, massive fantasy books, I'm not going to be reading a lot of Stephen King because when it comes to horror, because his books, I just won't have the time. For my horror reads this year, there's going to be a lot of novellas, short stories. I'm going to be taking a lot of recommendations from the two Horrortubers that I watched the most in 2020, Donnie Goodman and Uptown Horror Reviews. They both have so many great recommendations. I'm going to be checking out their channels and just kind of seeing like what good novellas are out there. You know, what great horror recommendations are out there that are short that I can read in between these massive tomes or these massive books, right? And then also, I didn't forget about Grimdark, even though the Black Company is Grimdark. But on top of that, that's not all the Grimdark I'm going to be reading. So Jed Herne has a podcast. He's a writer, and he has a group of other savages or Grimdark writers. I think they all write Grimdark except for Jed. I think he does more traditional fantasy. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. But anyways, he has this really cool podcast, and he uploads the videos to YouTube, and definitely check out that. I'm going to leave everybody I talk about. I'm going to leave their channel down below. You can check them out. But in this group, there's Michael Fletcher, who's written the top-rated Grimdark book, or the most Grimdark novel, Beyond Redemption, which on Mark Lawrence's official, unofficial Grimdark rating scale, voted on by the fans, that is number one. And I'm going to read that this year, for sure. But also, I want to read The Blackstone Heart. I believe that's the name. That one looks really intriguing as well. And then there's also Dirk Ashton, who is the writer of the Paternus trilogy. I believe that's Grimdark. I think it is. A lot of these, I don't know, haven't read them yet, but I'm going to, and I think they're Grimdark. And then Rob J. Hayes, I already have Along the Razor's Edge. I'm gonna dig into that relatively soon. And of course, Jed Herne himself, I believe his newest book is The Thunder Heist. I think it has something to do with pirates and fantasy. So I'm gonna check that out. And I feel like maybe that will be a nice palate cleanser between all the darker, all the more grim reads, right? Unless I'm totally wrong. Maybe these pirates are brutal and terrible. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm actually going to be doing a buddy read with Pablo from Pablo Saurez, his YouTube channel. Pablo is another person who works incredibly hard on his videos. You can just see like the amount of work that must go into editing those. He works hard. Definitely go check him out. We are going to be reading The Blade Itself in February. That's like a Grimdark staple, and I'm really into the genre. It's hard to believe I haven't read that yet, but I'm going to get into it. We're both going to read it, probably put up a review, some sort of collaborative review together. I'm excited about this one because it's doing something I really want to do this year, which is get even more involved with the community. It's one thing to comment on people's videos or to talk in Discord, but like actually like reach out, do some buddy reads. I mean, that's what this community is all about, right? Reading books together, finding great stories together and talking about it and having people to actually discuss it with, which is so different from regular day-to-day life. So this year, I've always been a fan of anime, and I've been so busy I haven't really been able to talk about it yet. I definitely want to start reviewing more anime shows. I feel like there's a lot of crossover between Grimdark fantasy and anime. If you're a fan of fantasy, I feel like there's a good chance you might like some anime. I loved Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't know if I should go back and rewatch it just so I can put up a review because I watched it a few years ago. But like right now I'm watching Demon Slayer. Oh, and pretty soon I'm going to be watching The Promised Neverland. I heard there's some horror elements in that one, so that could be cool. I watched the first season of Attack on Titan a little while back. I think I want to rewatch that just so I can put up content about it. I want to talk about it and then go season by season and just talk about that. I don't know what other anime I'm going to get into this year. There's so much out there. Maybe I'll get into One Piece. I know everybody in Daniel DeGreen's live chat was like harassing him to check that out, so it must be really popular. I know my cousin has even said like, oh, this is one you should check out for sure. So maybe I will. If there's any must-see anime that should be talked about, then let me know down below in the comments. I'm sure as you've noticed, occasionally I talk about TV shows. I just dropped The Mandalorian Season 2 review. You can check that out. I don't know if I'm going to link that anywhere. I'll probably put it on a card or something. I'm definitely going to be talking about WandaVision. I'm definitely going to be talking about the Lord of the Rings Amazon show, if that actually comes out in 2021, as well as the Wheel of Time TV show, as well as The Witcher 2. The Witcher Season 2. Those are for sure. I don't know what else might inspire me. I just might come across something that's really good and check that out and make content on that. But there's definitely going to be some TV shows. As far as movies go, the only one for sure that I'm going to be discussing on this channel is Dune. It's based off a really important book in science fiction, as you may know. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be putting out a review for that and putting out content for that. Now, let's get into the resolutions and goals. Are those the same thing? I think so. I think they both count as the same thing. Resolution number 1, create better content. I feel like this is like my 41st or 42nd video. I'm slowly learning, and I always try to improve. I want to get better and better. But then again, maybe by December, it's exactly the same. I hope not. But the number one resolution is to make better content. I want every video to either be more insightful, give you some information, or be funnier, put out more memes, and just be entertaining. It should be either informative or entertaining, preferably both. It's a work in progress. Number 2, I want to self-publish 2 books. 2 books this year. I have one in the works that's kind of a joke book. It's not, it's more of a meme, but you'll see if you subscribe and follow along. I'll show you. But the other one, I want to put out at least one novella that I'm working on. I'm actually going to take you guys with me. I want to show you step by step. When I make a much more detailed outline, when I go change the first draft to the second draft, when I start finding a cover artist, and all the way to self-publishing. I want to take you guys step by step through that journey, and I think it'll help keep me accountable. Number 4, start a twice a month check-in sort of video thing, which you'll see this weekend. I'll drop the first one. I don't want to talk too much about that, but you'll see what I mean by that. The next resolution is to try to do more buddy reads and try to collaborate with other people just a little bit more. I haven't done it at all. We have one thing coming up with Pablo next month, but after that, just want to try some things. Just engage with other creators even more. And my last resolution or goal, if there's a difference between a resolution and a goal, this is more on the goal side for sure. And it's a subscriber goal, which I always think these are funny because it's like you have no actual control over it. I mean, if you make better content, more people should subscribe, right? But you don't really have any control. You just gotta try your best, and just gotta try your best, and then hope good things happen. No, you just gotta try your best, and the chips fall where they fall. But I guess it's important to still aim for something. And I see a lot of people, not to talk crap or anything, but I see a lot of people aim really low. They'll have 1,200 subscribers and be like, my goal for this year will be to gain 5 subscribers. And you're like, you'll get that. You'll get that, and that's, pretty obvious. I want to shoot high. You can't even, so high you can't even see off the camera. You can't even see how high because it's above the camera, right? It's up there. But right now I have 200 subscribers, and thank you. Appreciate all of you. It's awesome that people have stuck around this early on because, like I said, I think this channel will get better and better and better, and you can be like, I was there when he still filmed off of his Galaxy S8, which I'm currently still filming with. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. The goal. So it took me a year and a half of very inconsistent uploads to get to 100. It took me 6 months, with the last couple months being the most consistent, but it took about that long to get to 200. I want to say since September, I've actually been pretty consistent with at least putting up 1 video a week. I want to preferably have 2 or 3 a week, but bare minimum once a week. But anyways, I'm getting totally off topic. The goal for this year, because I'm aiming really high, is 5,000 subscribers. Now, that probably won't happen, but at least it's something. I don't want to be have some decent gains and then be like, I crushed my goal of 5. I want to aim really high. And then if I fall anywhere in that direction, I'll be happy. I'm not going to be disappointed. Even if I got those 5. If I got 5 by the end of the year, as long as I had fun creating the content and talking with other people, getting the engagement, it's still a win. So if you're interested in any of those books or movies or TV shows or anime, then you should subscribe. Follow me along this year, and let's go find some great stories, because that's what this channel is all about. Finding great stories. I'm all about emotional entertainment. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Happy New Year.